Welcome, everybody, to It Tastes Different Gaming News. I will warn you now, today's news subject is a little on the profound side, if you will. Steam's most wanted sex game is trapped in development hell. Before we begin, there will be innuendos, maybe a few profanities thrown in there, but we will try to keep it to a minimum giggity. Operation Lovecraft Fallen Doll is one of the most popular unreleased games on Steam, but fans have turned against it. It has been in a development hell since 2017. Operation Lovecraft Fallen Doll, a 3D Unreal Engine powered game described on its Steam page as Cthulhu Mythos inspired sex simulator and third person sandbox. Careful what the sand gets. It's not just big on Steam. It's got a Patreon with over 15,000 Patreons, and it is the fourth most popular adult game. This is going to be a hard one to get through, but it's being made on Unreal Engine 5 and has real-time hair rendering, mocap models. Patreon updates boast a physics-based real-time body fluid simulation and dynamic sweat, in addition to customization sliders for hair and breast jiggle intensity. I'm trying not to laugh through over this. So essentially, you can see sweat pool in their collarbone while Angry Lizard Man is clapping cheeks. So, this is a sex game that is trying to be more of a real game, but with a lot of brown chicken, brown cow in it. I'm going to jump to Nick because he is our resident professional on this subject. He's probably logged thousands and thousands of hours in Leisure Suit Larry. Nick, where do you see this game? And have you downloaded the demo yet?
No, I haven't. I mean, the Patreons and the fans of this game, they seem to be peeved because the game has been, according to some of the Patreons and some of the people in the know, this game has been rebuilt several times. The game has said it's like a roguelike tactical game. I think this game has a problem with its identity. It doesn't know what it wants to be, right? I think right now they have like a multiplayer demo. Well, I don't know if the demo right now is multiplayer. At one time for the Patreons, they just had some sort of multiplayer mode where you could go out there and put people in different poses and various things for likes, like some sort of weird Facebook or something. Yeah, it seems like this game doesn't know what it wants to be. It's very surprising that this is, they say this is the most wish list, not the most, but it's the, I think the fourth most, or I'm sorry, the 25th most wish list games out of Steam's 100 most wish list games on Steam. So number 25, being above Homeworld 3, Darkest Dungeon 2, and Redfall. And that is an amazing feat. Right. Yeah, they did change over to Unreal Engine 5, which a lot of developers have been doing. So that's not, an unlikely thing to see. But, like you said, they do have a Patreon with 15,000 patrons, the fourth most popular adult game. But it seems like this game just doesn't know what it wants to do. It seems like the developers are wanting to make some sort of actual game out of it besides just an adult simulator, right? It seems like they're wanting to put behind some effort into making this some sort of like having the adult themes, but at the same time making like a story and some sort of arc within the whole thing, right? Some sort of sci-fi opera that also has, that's something that you would see on Skinamax, right? So that seems like what they want to do, but they keep rebuilding this game over and over again. And I think the patrons are not wanting that. I think we all know what exactly they want, right? So It just seems like the developers don't know what they want with this. But they've also, maybe they've kind of coaxed themselves into what they're wanting to do with this game. It seems like with Steam, it is a game that is on Steam. And there are certain rules that you have to abide by to be able to put a game like this on Steam. And it seems like they've done just enough to skirt by those rules with this game. So, they're getting away with, they're just going right above Steam's, limit. Here's the limit, and they're just an inch above it going, yep, that's good enough. Doing various things, like, for example, one of the things that they talk about is, one of the girls that they showcased does look underage. And in order to fix that, based on Steam's rules, all they had to do is make her taller. So, which it's pretty horrible. But so, that in itself could be a problem. Definitely on Steam to be able to, release its games. I mean, it's not like Valve and Steam doesn't have strict rules that they have to abide by. But if you could do something like make someone taller, but still make them look like they're underage, age wise, like how they look, but just 6 feet tall, does that make it okay at that point? I don't think so. So yeah, this game is definitely interesting. But the whole thing with the development of this game, I think, is where most of their Patreons are having a difficult time with it. It's just the developers not knowing exactly what they want to do with this. They clearly want to make an adult game, but it seems like they want to do more than just that. But they don't know how to do more than just that, it seems. What do you think, Pat?
Yahtzee. I have no clue what to say about this. It's I don't know. The game claims to want to be roguelike, tactical strategy deck builder. I have no clue what that has to do with a game that's built as an erotic sex game. I don't know. And how it ended up in the top 25 most wishlisted games is amazing. Consider I never even heard of it until it was brought up for the topics, and I was like, what is this? And I'm like, okay, so it's HP Lovecraft meets sex or erotica or whatever you want to call it in video game format. Yeah, I mean, how do you combine all those into a mishmash of a game? How do you have a roguelike deck building tactical strategy sex game? I mean, what is this? Is this XCOM meets freaking, I don't know, freaking Larry Flint's game or something,
Well, the roguelike comes in when she doesn't finish, you have to restart.
Okay. So you got to reset the dungeon. Gotcha. What about the tactical strategy part of it? What's the tactical and strategy part?
Trying to get that damn condom open without tearing it.
I do not know what people expected that backed this and are mad about it. I mean, just hearing all of that mishmash together, I'm like, I don't know what to think of this or what to think that they were thinking about, because the game's been in development since 2017 is what I read here, and that it's been revamped or retooled multiple times over that course of time. And I mean, it's coming up, I don't know. It sounds like a bad pipe dream game for some people, Let's take XCOM.
No pun intended.
Yeah, let's take XCOM in there, throw some sex in there with the aliens, and make sure that they're like movie theatrics grade scenes, and that's what we're gonna sell you guys. I don't know. Takes all kinds out there, I guess, from the gaming industry or the world in general, because I don't know. I don't know. You're going to back a game with that much mishmash of genres is just kind of weird to me. I would like to see the Patreon advertisement for this. Come see the world's greatest sex game. We've got lizards. We've got Cthulhu. We've got everything in between. And by the way, it's going to have deck building. It's going to have everything. We're going to throw some RPG elements in there at you. We're going to throw some roguelike dungeons. I'm like, what is this game? Like, I don't know. I the adult video game genre is somewhat baffling. You know, it is really, really weird to think of that genre that's out there. And I didn't catch it. Did they say they were retooling it for the latest Unreal Engine 5? Is that why they're now delaying it again? I guess. Okay.
Yeah, well, the switch to Unreal Engine 5. Apparently
this will be the this is going to be the adult version of Star Citizen before long, right? We'll be talking about this game in 2030, never coming out. You know, all those depraved people aren't going to get their game. You know.
They only be able to play it for 5 minutes anyway. So.
5 minutes and a go.
I didn't make it through the intro.
I just paid $70 for this and I only played it for 5 minutes.
I finished in the tutorial.
The prologue. I didn't even get a tutorial. It was a prologue.
It was the menu screen. Didn't even get start game.
Yeah, you get to press A.
I was making my character and I just couldn't get through it.
I don't know. It's a weird, like I said, it's a weird mashup of genres. And I don't know if anybody on the Patreon is mad because it's not that, you knew what you were signing up for. It's kind of how I feel about this one. It's like, it's an erotic sex adult game. You kind of already got that because there is somewhat of the game out now. I don't know what all is the game, but there's some multiplayer portion of the game. I'd hate to hear what that's like. There's Billy Bob and Bobby James in there having a multiplayer session. You know, I don't know what's going to happen in there. So,
Nick, what is the demo like?
I don't know. Never played it.
No. Yeah, I just want to be in the room when they were pitching the ideal to each other. I'm thinking sci-fi, Mass Effect, little XCOM. And then you got the one dude in the corner who just happens to have the checkbook. Yeah, but we need boning. We need some boning in this game. No, I got a great story idea. It's kind of a H.P. Lovecraft sci-fi thing. Yeah, but with boning, right? We got to have boning.
I'm wondering if
it's got to be 90% bonus.
I'm wondering if they didn't want to start that way, or if they did, right? They started that way to get the Patreon or whatever the case may be. But maybe the developers really want to make like an actual sci-fi game. And now they're like, well, we have to commit to the whole adult theme of it, right? Because it might be easier to sell that to patrons or to people. And then because they keep changing the genre for it and kind of rebuilding it, it almost sounds like maybe they don't quite want to make an adult game, but they're kind of stuck with that. I don't know. It's like, if that's the case, then just make your adult game and then start building some other new game.
Well, Nick, if that's the way they started and they decide, we're going to take the brown chicken, brown cow out of the game, the nookie parts, are you going to ask for your money back?
Well, I'm not saying to take it out of there. I'm just saying, like, I think they were trying to build that. It almost sounds like they were trying to build that on top of it, probably starting out with just the adult stuff, right? And then saying like, hey, let's add this stuff in here. And then, maybe thinking like, hey, we kind of like this stuff more than the adult thing, but they can't sway away from that, right? That's how they got their patrons in the first place. So they have to come out with the adult game.
But from that trailer that's on Steam, by the way, don't look it up with the kids in the room. But with that trailer, if they want to advertise it as more of a game, but with boning, they really need to do something about those trailers, because the trailer was just, I created a chick and now I'm going to put all these people in a room and they're just going to slam hams. That's their whole trailer. I mean, if, they want to show that the game is a game with boning instead of just a boning with a game involved, they need to really, probably advertise it better.
All I can hear is every time Shane says that, is it the guy from Family Guy where he was like, it was just not okay. They were boning, but it was just not. That's all I can hear from Shane.
I tried to bone my girlfriend, and she said,
"There's just no way." That's all I can hear from Shane.
Ever since I've seen that episode, I can't say boning. I say boning. It's stuck to me.
It's weird.
Gross.
It's a weird game, and it's for a subset of people out there, and they're mad because it's taken too long to develop. But when you're going to compare a game to XCOM, Mass Effect, and all that, and then have sex in it, it's like, what are you trying to do? You don't know what you're trying to do, obviously. And I think that's why the fans or whoever backed this is mad, because they're like, I just want what I backed, or I want my money back.
Right.
You know,
they want the sex game is what they want. Right. They don't want the XCOM and all that stuff. Like, that's not why they backed it. Right. I mean, I don't think so.
And I'm going to agree with you. If you want to make a game like that has no sex in it, then just put your game out. And then raise some more money to make a game that you want to do that's not sex game.
Honestly, I have no problem if they put boning in there, if there's a game involved. I mean, like Mass Effect, you had the sex scenes, but they were really, turn the camera sex scenes. You got to ooh and ah, and that's the wrong hole. You got that from it, but you didn't get this extent, and I have no problem with, you want to play a full-on sex game or, just a, slight touch sex game, where it's part of the story, but they just take it to the extreme. I don't care. But if they're trying to make an actual game, but it does happen to involve, then let them, they need to advertise it in a better way. I mean, because they're identifying XCOM and Mass Effect as inspirations, and both of those are solid story-driven games. So they need to do a better job. But that's just my opinion.
Whatever gets your jollies off.
In this case, it's not getting their fan jollies off because they're mad at them.
No. Their fans are starting to get flaccid with the lack of game, and it's not cool. All right. This is going to get nasty if we don't cut it off soon. Giggity. So you guys got anything else? All right. Thank you for listening to this Adults After Dark episode. And make sure you hit that like, subscribe, all those good buttons down there. Give us some of your feedback. We love the feedback, good or bad. Let us know if you agree with what we said. Let us know if you're a Patreon. We won't tease you. Let us know what you think about the genre as a whole. Giggity. So give us that info, and until next time, see ya.